The second Worldeater raid, Double Helix, is here, and today I want to run through the level 102 target for what I'm hoping is instant map repair, although I will have to keep you in suspense about that one a little bit. Hey everyone, Derpy here, and welcome to another Battle Pirates video. I will start out by saying that I will show you the build at the end, but I want to discuss the driving strategy for this one, which is generally applicable if you have a similar build with at least 2 anti-ships. If you don't, I would highly recommend refitting to have 2 Gale anti-ships like the build I have shown here. In this particular raid series, the build is even more important than usual because of the unusual mechanics of Gale shooting down missiles. But let's get started. What I want to do here is show you turret cluster by turret cluster how to take this element down here. It's not always going to be perfect. There are going to be a few mess ups. If you just straight up auto this target with my fleet setup, it's 30 minutes repair, or 31. If you have a full cap fleet, you can probably auto it for that magic 25-minute instant base repair, but we're not quite there yet. So to get started, I'm going to take down the first scattergun turret. This is a short-range scattergun, not worried about this one at all. Next thing is to skim off the 2 corrosive Inquisitor ships and head off to the right. I'm actually going to come back to the left here against most of these guys in a second, so let's do that now. Sneak in here and grab the UAV turret. Now, what you want to do when you're grabbing this UAV turret is get close to him and then run away as soon as you fire enough shots to kill him, because that will give your Gales more time to shoot at the orbiting or the incoming UAVs. Your chaining also works well enough. You take down the 2 missile turrets, which did not shoot at you here. Notably, those have a lower range than the penetrative UAV turrets, and then the short-range scatter, not worried about him. UAV ship goes down. If you have my build, you can just stay parked in his range, and he goes down completely fine. Again, don't need to worry about that one there. Now, what I was going to do here, and actually still might, is try looping around to the right side of the target and clean up a few ships out here, I was going to do that because the shrouded platform right here is pretty difficult to take out for no damage when it's the last one, but because it's still shrouded until you kill this building, it's going to actually be pretty painful to do that, so we might actually just have to eat a little bit of damage from this long-range scattergun here at the very end of the target. So let's jump back into the normal progression of things and take down the next few items. This is actually going to be off to the left against this combination of the Death Scythe and then the directional missile turret. What Kixeye wants you to do, and you can see this path yourself, is you can shift click on one turret and hover over the other one. You can see that there is a nice sneaky path that you can go through and try and avoid taking damage that way. What I think works much better is just charging straight through as long as you don't hit the mine here. Watch the retreat bar on the top right. These things are going to land and they're going to do no damage because, well, I outran the dumb fire weapons. So that works out pretty well. And then I chain down basically everything on that platform, so that's 2 birds down with 1 stone. No fancy driving or anything like that. 2 more corrosive guys here. I'm going to try and kill those ones while making sure I stay well out of range of the next corrosive guy and even wait for the land tiles, etc. to pop up, because what this does is it means that I have the ability to chain and take down a few more things here, which I otherwise would not be able to. Notice how this UAV turret right here is not shooting at me yet because I stopped and was far enough away. Otherwise, whenever he's shooting at you with something else, you're going to be overwhelmed. Same for the one in front of me right here. So let's take this guy down pretty quickly and then jump the other direction. 3 turrets towards the top here. We have a missile turret, not worried about him. Your Gale will shoot that down, only in this target though. Short range corrosive and then a long range corrosive. If I stay at max range, I should avoid taking damage from the long range corrosive because again, I'm far enough away from him. I don't have to worry about that yet. He's not going to hit me. That's not going to be true for this next cluster and this next long range corrosive if you go towards the center of the target here, which to be honest, when I'm driving it myself, I probably do basically every time. But because I want to show you the path if you maybe have a U0 fleet, for instance, I want to show you how this blue building, and then we're actually going to see this later, this blue building right here is very, very large, and it means you can actually, from very far away, chain off of that guy onto everything else. Look, I'm not even touching him yet by like a whole turret length. I'm going to be able to chain onto everything else around here and take all that stuff down, except for the directional turret, which I don't care about because that's a directional turret. So I'll take that guy down, probably won't chain onto the next one, but that's completely fine. head back towards the center of the platform while making sure you don't step on this mine right here, because, well, that would be kind of annoying. The next thing we want to do is actually notice that there is a camouflaged long-range corrosive turret right here, which means we can't approach this turret cluster from the left side, so instead we're going to have to approach it from the right side a little bit later, which we can probably do for relatively minor damage. There is one spot in this turret or cluster, or target I should say, I have not found the way to avoid all damage from, and that's this turret cluster right here. We have a long-range corrosive turret sitting on the corner, which means I can't approach it from this side whatsoever. I'm going to have to do a quick run-in, do 1 or 2 shots worth of stuff, and then run the other direction, and hope that I don't take too much damage, that it's no longer instant repair, either map or in base, depending on what you're going for. And as you can see, well, everything is now dead because my UAVs chained and took down everything here except for the signal building, and once I take that down, you should see that a bunch of stuff will unshroud. Jumping back towards the center of the platform, now we can see that we can actually engage if the ships don't move here, which they will, so we're going to take those guys down first. Come back here, grab the ships, other direction. We can actually engage the corrosive turret platform here in the center. What I want to do is move forward in a nice straight line here, avoid taking damage from the short-range corrosive guy, which should be done just about like that. And now I can chain and take down everyone over here without angering the 2 missile turrets or the UAV guy, which is the one you were really worried about here. And then unfortunately, the long-range corrosive that we did this whole rigmarole for is still alive, which means that, well, he's going to actually end up shooting at me regardless of all the stuff I did to try and prevent that, which is pretty annoying. I probably could have just skimmed it off on the side here to start, and I wouldn't have had to do all that driving that I just showed you. Okay, taking a look at the center of the target now, we can see there are 3 turrets towards the top left. What I want to do with these ones is actually just kind of line them up and come in from the left side here so that the long-range corrosive does not fire. If the UAV fires, which it did there, it probably means you're too close, but if you have gales, you can engage it for generally low damage every time. What you could do here now, and I did actually in the target before this, is loop all the way around back toward the very bottom of the target, and that would actually avoid taking all the damage. I think I am going to demonstrate this again, so if you're watching along with a U0, U1 fleet at home, etc., you know that there is a way to do this portion for no damage. But if you actually just want to steamroll the target and go right through it, just try and stay away from the death side UAV because that's going to be pretty painful. You cannot outrange that one. Instead, just hit the corrosive long-range guy here on the very side, coming in on the top, and take down most of that platform using that approach. What I'm going to do is actually going to be to sneak through the sort of Kixeye recommended way of doing this, which is through the gap in the target right here. Let's sneak in here. What I want to do is stay far enough away from the long-range corrosive that I can hit everything. You might think one of these 2 turrets is the first thing that I would hit, but again, because these buildings in the center of the target here are so large, I'm actually firing at this pink building a whole like 10 or so range away from it, which is kind of bonkers, but you can actually take down that whole cluster there for no repair. And then the last thing left here are 2 random Inquisitor ships. Again, just stay moving against those ones and you'll generally take low repair. Not a perfect run, but it should be good enough for you to replicate something relatively low damage if you're watching along on your, or playing along at home. Let's now take a look at not the end screen, but the battle report here. Damage taken was mostly corrosive, so 82% if you sum resisted and taken. This is likely from the long-range scattergun turret when it hits me, and then I don't actually think too many of the UAVs hit me, so that's interesting here. And then repair time here is 9 minutes and 27 seconds. The one other target that I drove for the 102 so far was 14 minutes, and this one is better at 9 minutes. It's going to be a handful of minutes of repair on each of these ships. In terms of the build, I have an X1 Gale ship right here. It needs some better armor and it needs some better weapons. Maybe the weapons on this one don't really matter, but I could use some better armor on this one, especially now that the heavy armors do exist. Actually, I haven't even updated my ships with that one. And then there is a U3 ship with Gales and then also needs heavy armor as well as regular armor here. X1 ship could use better weapons, could use armor, heavy armor, etc. Same for the second X1 ship. and the flagship is built as a standard damage ship, and it's even missing a regular armor plate because I didn't have that last raid, and there's no reason to build the flag as a gale ship. I've discussed this pretty extensively before and don't want to get into that one again. But if you have questions, I'm more than happy to answer those in the YouTube comment section, and try and stay tuned for the level 103 video later today. I don't have too much time this raid, so might not be getting to my usual run of videos on every target. With that said, and until next time, I want to give a huge thank you to the channel members who are watching and supporting the channel by being a member. With that said, this is Derpy signing out, helping you be a better pirate.